Into the double flashbang kit. Likely you're going to be seeing Jack heavy plat control come out from Epsilon to this pistol. Eric can flash plat, they peek it, flashes a Molotov and smoke out connector and molly out chicken coop. Most likely, but let's see if they do go for the flash double face. This could end very badly for Endpoint if they get caught off guard with these flashbangs.
Oh, Kev, instant with the opening face. Goes for an aggressive play as well. You don't normally see that, but he does punish them immediately. Overwhelmed now as they take out from drop control, trying to swarm in. Stanley with a double. Needs to try and make it free, and he does. Gets himself into a fantastic position. But look at where the bomb's dropped. Stanley's still on a roll, though. 4 frags to his name. Already a quad kill into this one. Jay-Z coming up from the rear.
Oh my.
Will punish him a little bit as he takes down Imi. 1 shot, 1 kill. That's all he needs. Stanley, he's on for the ace to get the pistol round for Endpoint. Is it possible? Jay-Z holds the angle, waits for the face from Stan, but Stan gets it as he punishes them, blows them away. 5 kills for just 1 man.
Ace there for Stanley. As I said before, I alluded to it when I saw the buy coming out. Molly towards chicken, smoke towards connector, and the kit double flashbang being invested by Eric, which meant flash towards plat. Flasher was blind, gets taken out the server instantly. And there you have a Stanley with the ace to basically keep Endpoint back into this one. 1-0 now going forward. Epsilon going to be investing into not really too much of a heavy loaded buy. We saw what happened on Mirage. They went for the full force buy. They lost that round. They lacked the AWP. They lacked those rifles. And they started off in a deficit 4-1. Now it's just going to be Zinken, Kevlar, CZ, and apart from that, no one else is going to be warding armor. Of course, though, Zasty with that tasty scout, which means he can try and get the tags here and see if they can utilize that and exploit that going forward with the pistols.
20 damage being done early, though. Kev going to actually take a fair hit off the back of that HE they have lobbed out. Minute 20 on the clock. Tons of range to play with. Meanwhile, Epsilon, you know they're going to have these pistol buys. You know they're powerful on these pistol buys as well. Most importantly, close range angles are going to be at their physical peak with these weapons. Just try and play it slow, draw out those long-range firefights. Stanley on the entry as well with the AK, trying to take platform control. It was all about finding that first frag on Kev. Already 3 frags go the way of Epsilon. They are demolishing Endpoint. It's all up to Weber now. How has it come down to a clutch from Brandon? Just with the SMG in his hands, 2 kills. He has lowered 2 of the players on the side of Epsilon as well. There's potential, but this is horrific.
20 HP as well to walk with. 45 seconds, the bomb dropped towards platform. 1 bullet from that Deagle, 1 bullet from the Scout, and the AK as well will take him down to his demise. 30 seconds left. We'll go for the peak eventually towards platform. Supposed to have the first player. None of these players have Kevlar, but unfortunately that wallbang there for 20 damage will find that final frag. 1-1 as Deja Vu, except the roles are reversed, Jack. Endpoint win the pistol, and Endpoint this time are the ones reset.
Soul crushing as well, especially off the back of Stanley getting an ace. Everyone's pumped up. All they had to do into that round was just play slow, take firefights. Stanley played it correctly as well. He's gone for the peek out, but they never should have allowed 3 frags to come back in off that initial play. You know Kev's on the close angle. He gets away with 2 kills as well. I don't know what the miscommunication was there, but it was just a bloodbath off the back of 1 frag.
Was indeed. I mean, what did we see there? 1 close plat the CZ, 2 playing towards statue. They had a Deagle statue. They had a Scout statue as well. And one of the things we see often is the pairing of the Scout and the Deagle together, right? If you have the Scout, lands the body shot, does 79 points of damage. Deagle does about 30 to 40 or 50 up close range. And what that means is, as a pair, you land the tag with the Scout, you land a body shot with the Deagle. That's enough to take down a player. So if you have a combo where 1 close plat playing counter flash, the Scout Deagle combo playing together towards statue, that's a really formidable defense towards that B bomb site if a fast rush does happen.
It's very true. And we saw how that's what you've got to do on your CT side, essentially. You get the first frag, you play for trades, you win out those rounds. It's just basic CS and being able to actually just play smart.
Just basic CS, lads.
Just like Mike Powell used to say.
Exactly, it's just basic CS. But yeah, I mean, right. Get B plat control, you have the bomb, last 2 players that drop. It's very hard to try and salvage that round if you are Endpoint. Nevertheless, though, Jack, round number 3, going to be the counter force by being brought up by Endpoint. Weber. It's going to be one of the Deagle, no Kevlar just yet, as it will be 4 players forcing. Stanley leading with the AK, trying to see if he can go for the contact play and find this first frag.
Well, push coming through immediately as they sprint out towards this A site. Already 2 frags go the way of Epsilon, though. Zasty and Zinken coming back through with the UMP. There is a trade from Mikey Max with a CZ in close range. He's able to get up to some mischief. Oh, Jay-Z goes down as well. Stanley, he's armed, and he's looking deadly. Zinken gets that refrag, leaves him in a 2v3. Kev is in the rear once again as well. Let's see what they can develop out of this.
Man advantage for Epsilon off the back of the nice headshot there from Zinken. Kev from behind. If he can get a flashbang or some bait being brought by his team, and unfortunately, they leave him out to hang dry. 2 versus 2 now, Mighty Max and Co. But unfortunately, no smoke to try and shroud the bomb plant. A minute left on the clock, so they can go back towards B if they want to try to take that risk, Jack. Weber, they're lacking that Kevlar.
Weber can get in though. No one's actually facing towards it. Look, Eric isn't peeking. There's an AK down, so Weber can actually grab himself a gun. That's the UMP actually. So he is still going to have a firearm in play at least.
Has the molly for default. They spotted another player being Zinken. They can molly, HE grenade, try force the peek. If Weber finds the frag, oh, he doesn't quite get him. Eric gets spotted out though.
Oh, they've gone for the 1-for-1 now though. They can fall back in. Max just has to try and clutch out this round. Unfortunately, the AK spray from Eric is going to be too strong, too hot to handle. 12 HP is all he had left, but he still comes out on top in that battle.
Zinken with 3 massive frags. So there's Stanley after acing the pistol in the 2 versus 2, gets modded out and HE'd out, slips out default, finds the frag onto Weber in the 1 versus 1. It will conclude in favor of Epsilon. 2-1 now, and it's going to be the reforce buy again for Endpoint. They know that is bare bones money for Epsilon. No, sorry, 1 player surviving both of these rounds, which means their money will be extremely low.
Jay-Z and co. Going for that early push towards side. Jay-Z with the range advantage he has off the back of the rifle can spray his way through. Max early tags coming out as well. Zasty continuously going through peaks, even fights through the smoke. Kev as well with the MP9 will only claim 1 kill before Weather punishes him, strikes him down, smiting everyone with this P250. Imi as well follows through as he takes down Zasty. Weber, he's armed himself. He has a little bit of utility, a tad to work with, but the bomb is down in a bit of an awful spot. He will need to try and cross towards this site. 2 smokes, a flash, and his natural talent. What can he pull out here, Snods?
Nothing at all. Eric will find that last frag. 3-1 now. As Endpoint this time, 2 players surviving for the likes of Epsilon, so we'll be seeing another force bites and entirely unlikely. Concede this one. Loss, bonus to try work with. Go for a quasi buy, go for a half buy. You can see Weber shaking his head as well. The frustration starting to really mount here.
Yeah, I think that's something we saw the sort of remnants of towards the end of that first map as well. It seemed like it was starting to get a little bit
We heard on the comms as well, Imi saying you have to listen to me or listen to my calls.
Oh, Kev, this will be a cheeky play through the smoke, does push him with a timing. No, surely not! The butcher play comes through! He takes Imi down and punishes him. Horrific stuff as it falls to fashion now. A 1v5, CZ in his hands. He gets popped by the USP. That's a 4K as well from Zasty, the super sub.
The super sub indeed, questioning why he is the sub. Incredible aim. But obviously aim isn't everything when it comes to Counter-Strike. What does he bring outside of the scoreboard?
The thing is he's reckless as well. He's continuously aggressive plays.
Sometimes you need those plays that will do the unthinkable, do the unexpected, because, as I just said there, aforementionedly, it's unexpected. You're not expecting those pushes, especially versus a team like Endpoint as well, which is very rugged, very strict, very drilled. Throwing the spanner in the works, playing randomly and spontaneously, and overzealous sometimes can really catch a team such as Endpoint off guard.
Jay-Z. Next, we'll try and go for an aggressive peek here as well. Flashes in, won't find anything just yet. Everyone is huddled outside. Finally, Endpoint are back into an effective buy, those Snods. But what will they mount with this?
This is what I want to see from Endpoint. A default coming out finally for the likes of Endpoint. 2 towards A, 2 towards B. Actually, 1 towards drop. Sorry, 1 towards platform, 2 towards A, and 2 towards drop. As Stanley finds the first one to Eric. Man advantage now for Endpoint. Zinken, they're close towards drop as well. If they can find the refrag, or if they can find that second kill towards window as well, they can really deny any pressure from Endpoint. The problem here, Jack, is they have to try and retake plat.
Just waiting for this push to come through. Jay-Z, he's in position. He is mobile though, looking like he is opting to decide what angle to actually focus towards. It just depends on the timing of if he's going to be overwhelmed. Tons of utility here for Endpoint as well. They have the flashbangs, they have the smokes, divide this site, zone out the CTs, block them off officially. The push comes through, Fasher as well. A furious and fast entry as he bludgeons Jay-Z.
5 versus 3, may as well have to save currently for the likes of Epsilon, but then again they still have heart into this round. As Kev trying to come in from behind, is Stanley going to be caught off guard.
Oh, he's going to drop down, but can he drop the man that is waiting, lurking? He hasn't actually overextended as well. Stanley still just holding the angle, focusing, trying to take down Zinken when this push comes in. Stan now aware of it, gets the headshot, smart stuff, ready for more as he wants to double or nothing. Of course, Stanley does it.
Needed to save in that scenario. 5 versus 3. Smoke comes out towards Connector. There is no chance of you taking that round unless you have a 1 in 100 double kill, triple kill, a kill through the smoke or something really goes in your favor, or Endpoint really slip up. So over peaks there from the likes of Epsilon as they do concede their weapons. But it will be 4-2. And what I'd like to see here is Endpoint going with the default. I think the best default I've seen so far on Cobblestone was from NIP. Obviously, Recently, champions of Oakland, and one of the things they did was res and exist towards B platform, right? Typically, 6 months ago or so, it was 3 towards A, 1 drop, 1 B platform. You throw your an A's plat, and that'll be it. You'll take control of A. Nowadays, it's 2 towards A, 2 towards B platform. All you can do with that second player plat is have a player play aggressive, play towards the cubby, play in the face of the CT side, and you have the player far back platform with a flashbang in hand. He can be boosted as well towards platform, and he can flash for the peaks, he can counter molly, he can help his teammate. See the smoke's fading, he can flash perfectly timed flash for B platform. Exist and Rez were able to really deny any presence there.
And you could see as well, Zinken's keyboard imitating the mental state of Endpoint right now. Absolutely tilted.
Exactly that. Tilted beyond belief, you could say, even shaking their heads as well. But let's see if they're going to be shaken as they are currently 4-2 down. Drop control is going to be very prevalent here for the likes of Endpoint. Stanley trying to see if he can utilize his individual skill and prowess towards drop. And what this means is it adds so much pressure right now for Epsilon. Endpoint have control of drop, but there's no plat control for Epsilon, so there's no information. Endpoint could just sell a fake very easy towards the B site right now. Force Jay-Z walking through the op to rotate B, reheat the A bomb site, vice versa towards B. Mighty Max, that you can see, has no utility, so he can't sell the fake, which could be the error here for Endpoint, because if he doesn't sell this fake, which he hasn't, that rotation's come in, and that's 4 players towards B for Epsilon.
The thing is, I don't think they know of Stanley. They knew that the Molotovs were there, so they've heard through the audio cues. They didn't hear him land down. The flashbangs masked the noise. He's pushed in. They might not be aware of this unless they've now heard the second drop coming through. Stanley bobbing and weaving as Jay-Z will spot him out, tries to bypass him as they sprint through. Jay-Z is dealing damage. Big digs coming through. Response there from Imi as well. Shuts down the counter-AWP, leaving them into a 2v2 scenario. There is a backstab though. Zasty, is he ready? Spots out Imi, but gives the game up himself essentially. A bit of a wild spam coming through, but the AG blows him out of the server and the follow-up frag.
Oh, the wombo combo there towards B platform from Zasty. It's the Kobe and A towards plat. Swings out as well when he wasn't looking. The bomb planter wasn't looking. And finds both of those kills. 5-2.
I mean, the thing is, you can't really even account for that. It's hard, because Endpoint are getting themselves into these situations where they're playing smart early game. More so than anything, it's just Epsilon are having really huge retake performances. We've seen a lot of that. Individual plays are just through the roof right now that are putting them in situations normally they shouldn't be in.
What's crazy as well is the fact that Epsilon still had 4 players towards the B bomb site, and they even lacked plat control. Anyway, they flash finds the first frag towards B platform. Zasty getting a little bit too zealous. Jay-Z walking, trying to fall back. Imi does spot him, and we're getting a little bit of a tag out, just 1 bullet landing so far, as it will be the man advantage for Endpoint. Jay-Z chucks out that HE, does good damage there as well. A big dig to Imi. But 5 versus 4, man advantage for Endpoint. They can slow the paces down, the round down thoroughly. B plat is in control for Epsilon, so they can take control of platform and use that information to their advantage. Stack an extra player towards the A bomb site, leave Eric alone towards drop. Conversely, they might be expecting Endpoint to go back towards the B site. Now they have control of A. One of the, obvious things you can do if you want to try to sell a double fake is you take control of mid, but you don't actually hit mid, you go back towards B. Right now, are Endpoint overthinking this one?
It's true. If they got in their own heads, obviously, when you think about it as well, this is their map pick, this is their home soil. They need to be performing better than this. They're getting themselves into so many tight situations and letting it slip every time. Are they just putting too much pressure on themselves?
Look at the re-aggression there from Jay-Z walking. He has so much information towards A long. Spots out no one. Mighty Max the smoke though.
Max actually does bypass and gets his way through, making noise towards A as well, trying to clear the site. Zinken goes down! Max! Absolutely brutal stuff has come through there. This leaves him in a bit of a tight spot, but Kev needs to be spotted playing close off. No one knows. They dismantle that T-side push, ripping their way through everyone they could find. A 2v2, but Weber gets stinked. Weber, the paranoia on display, trying to keep himself locked and loaded. Max, surely not, as he will fall to Eric. Epsilon keep it going. The hype is there for him. Everyone is pumped up. They're dealing damage, even in rounds where Max is trying so much. He's got his team on his shoulders, and they still can't do it.
He doesn't get much better than Jack. After Max found that frag, it is a 5 versus 3. 2 towards B. It's a 2 versus 4 towards this B bomb site, and Eric and Kevsey still somehow managed to conquer the overthrow any aggression at Endpoint sent towards that B bomb site, and we could be witnessing the end here of the tournament life from Endpoint. How much more gas have they got left in the tank here mentally as well, as they have these rounds have been so close, and yet it still falls each and every time of the court and in favor of Epsilon.
That's one of the things to focus on as well. Obviously, outside of the Elite Series, we've seen somewhat of Endpoint actually being able to post up a few results here and there on Cobblestone. But if we think just alone inside of Elite Series throughout Season 2 stunts, they've only played this map once, and it was one victory.
It was versus Infused, week 1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They won 16-12 just.
Yep. And that's the
Remember
thing,
that
when you think about it like that, coming into this matchup as well against Epsilon right now, a team that on Cobblestone are using all of the factors they have to play with. They are dominating against Endpoint. They have no way to answer against this Zinken as well. The headshot coming through. This eco round is made of quick work as they shut them down.
Another thing as well, Jack, is I'm liking what I'm seeing in these T rounds. The defaults coming out from Endpoint are doing well. They're getting map control. They're taking control of A. They're taking control of drop very well. Stanley's so important in these T rounds. They have control of the map. The problem is, individually, they're not landing these frags. I mean, they're doing it. Imi is calling these rounds very well. He knows where to send his teammates. They're taking control of the right parts of the map. The default is strong, but it's the execution from that point forward.
Can they change it up here, though? More aggressive towards mid. You sent 3 players in there already, trying to play as more of a unit. This is good. Actually working as a pack. They find a double entry. There are trades there, leaving them in a 3v3. But right now, this will favor the T's, especially with this aggressive play from Fasher towards B. My eyes are on Fasher to actually try and be the catalyst to open up this round, really.
He has the grenades to really do so. If he can smoke out platform, molly out stairs as well, try and see if he can be a diversion, really. Keep 2 players here. That's his job right now, Jack, is to keep 2 players from Epsilon towards the B-bomb site.
Oh, lots of juicy information being served up to him.
They can
Absolutely
boost drop
free.
if they want to. The molly comes up, Plat by Fasher. If he beats him, well timed, this could be detrimental to Epsilon.
This could be so good as well. Epsilon, depending on how they play this and how Fasher decides to actually go for this push, it could isolate them quite massively.
Oh my.
Endpoint, they're not going to be aware though. Jay-Z is well going for the peak. They need to try and find this frag on Jay-Z so they can actually rotate. If we see a full play come through from Kev, he could really try and play with the time, and Fasher as well goes down. This is not a good spot to be in. The round is getting worse and worse, but the second, especially when Jay-Z has a prime time angle to work off, gets one ready for the second. Luckily, Weber can trade it back. Weber now in a 1v2, 35 seconds. He's secured the bomb, 15 HP and 2 flashbangs to try and get this third round for Endpoint.
15 HP once again. Weber in the clutch situation. Will be able to creep onto the bomb site. If he gets the bomb down, at least he'll have the consolation money for getting the bomb, which means they can buy into the next round. But if he tries to isolate these players one by one, he was 2 low HP. 1 shot from the AK there from bottom mid. We'll find that last frag. And Fasher, yeah.
He knows as well. He knows that was the right play to go for. Just didn't work out, unfortunately. The thing is, head in hands, Weber.
Okay.
The frustration.
Yeah, if Fasher lands that frag towards B, the round's over.
Yeah.
Fasher has the grenades. Fasher had a smoke, Molotov, flashbang, gets the frag towards connector, smokes connector, mollies out electric, does a flash, whatever. Pretends there's extra players there, the bomb rotates in, round's as good as done. They can either go towards A because of over rotation probably. And you can see Epsilon really putting their foot down, showing complete confidence, because they're just going to be facing one by one into Endpoint.
Yeah, Endpoint as well into this round. You can see going back to the fact where they are on an eco with just a light investment to upgraded pistols. They don't really want to do anything too wild as well. They just want to get these rounds over with. They are just trying to go for more of a slower play towards B now with the final 3 remaining players. But even then, you've basically, you know that this round is going to be not going in your favor. You know it's just going to be easy. You want to concede it, get out of the way, get back into a position where you can actually play with upgraded firearms. But this is not going to be good for Endpoint's mental state, especially on the fact when you think normally their T sides are where they're at one of their best positions. They're able to get explosive entries and do a lot of damage, but right now they're just being fed to the slaughtering grounds.
You're not wrong there, Jack. Usually expecting strong T sides from Endpoint, where they're very drilled, they're very good at executions, their defaults work very well. The reason their defaults work very well, Jack, is because Imi is very good at the mid-round calls, along with Weber. Here's that an issue, though. And then obviously you have your very independent players in the likes of Imi, Max, Stanley, and of course, Weber. And what that means is, what's so funny? What's made you laugh, Jack?
I can hear Jake.
What's
I'm not saying anyone's raging, but this is the thing.
No.
This is an issue that can arise. When you get into this scenario, it's so heated, there's so much on the line, so much pressure.
I've been there.
You have to try and, play your heart out. They know they are essentially 2 maps away from making to that grand final of the Gfinity Elite Series, Season 2. They didn't have the performance they wanted in Season 1. Season 2 is where they've started to build a name for themselves. They've proven they can be a dominant force, not only within the UK scene, but within Europe as well. And this is the match that it all comes down to, really.
So, 9-2 scoreline, Jack. Already a 9-round half coming from Epsilon, more than they would have wanted initially on their city half. Jake trying to see what input he can have with his limited time during the pause. But what do you really change? I mean, the strategies have been good. They've had good defaults. They've been taking control of drop very, very well. They've been going back and forth towards these sites. It's a round where they forced Epsilon to over-rotate towards the A site. It was a 4 versus 2 towards B. They played it so well, and they lose the Angels. And the problem is, going forward, how do you try and fix that hole? Do you try and simplify things? What you can do, make burst plays. When things get tougher, when you lose these duels, try and, in a sense, simplify it, I guess. If you want to get these players comfortable or get them more... It's really hard to explain.
Here's the thing as well that I want to have a look at. If we can actually bring up the scoreboard quickly, Keita, and have a look at how many of these rounds have been down to clutches, it seems like they're getting themselves in these tight scenarios. Actually, the aggression comes through early, though. Stanley trying to take the drop-down control, will find the double entry, finds these first 2 frags, sets them up for a potential highlight into this round. JZ does have the angle covered, but they finally have themselves a double entry advantage.
Smart and disciplined players coming up from Endpoint. They're holding the line. They know that all it takes is Mighty Max to lurk towards A. Once he realizes A is clear, he can smoke out connector, forces players back potentially from B. But let's see if they play their cards right.
Oh, Zasty goes straight in, finds the headshot that he dearly wants. You can see he's bloodthirsty into these rounds, continuously bobbing and weaving. Try and play with the hype. Oh, Stanley, unaware of it as well. Zasty dealing so much damage. A Dragon Force fan as well as he pushes through the fire and flames to continue this absolute rampage that he's running against this Endpoint side. They do bypass him, slip onto the site now. Oh, Bogdan's Law comes out as well. There's going to be the AWP transferred over to Zasty. Let's see if he can find anything cheeky with this weapon.
Max towards default. Imi with the AWP towards balcony as well. Max has no reason to peek. You've got Imi holding the angle towards Balk. And then you have, of course, Fasher holding the angle outside mid. A very hard round for the likes of Epsilon to lose.
Imi takes him down. It's quicker off the trigger with the AWP there as he swiftly makes work of him. JZ forced the saves. He doesn't want to lose the weapon that he made a name for himself with. Falls back towards the B site. Does go for the save. You concede 1 round. Endpoint now have 3 on the board. But again,
we can't see it. We can't see it. Yeah, you could draw it on there.
Yeah, we could add it. Keep getting paint.
Go on, man.
Come back to us at the end of the half.
Exactly.
I think the thing is, though, this is the point I was trying to make with that, is the fact that so many of these rounds that have gone in favor of Epsilon have been sort of 1vx clutch situations continuously that have just been slight mistakes or just Epsilon somehow being able to get the better and the advantage into those rounds, being able to clutch it out and draw it back. We've seen that quite a few times. That has really swung the tide. That's given them such a strong economy. It's put them in a position to win so many rounds because those small clutches that a little bit of leeway would have swung it in the favor of Endpoint.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, there's rounds where if Endpoint check a corner, they get the round win. If they check a cubby, they get the round win. Yeah. If they throw a flashbang, they get the round win. These are very close rounds. The problem is, Jack, these rounds are all being won by Epsilon. The way they're doing it and the fashion they're doing it as well has been stellar. And I said before in the last round, if they're basically too tense, they're not winning these Angels, simplify things. And what did they do? They just ran down drop, no grenades, just an underhand flashbang, and pure Angels just spraying down Epsilon, changing the pace. And when you simplify things like this, sometimes it can be just the difference of tempo, the difference of pace that catches Epsilon off guard, and it worked.
If I'm honest with you as well, I think that's what I wanted to see the entire time on Mirage. Such a slow style of CS, continuously on their T side, never adapting, never switching things up, even when they knew they were running into a brick wall time and time again, and never trying to switch up their play style. Right now, you need to just go for confidence.
A contact A play towards ramp, a contact B, something on that line I can definitely agree with, Jack. Nevertheless, though, it's going to be a 5 versus 5 with 1 minute left on the clock into this round. AC with the elevated angle towards mid. We'll get the first frag forward, so going to get a second, though.
Oh, timing could be really critical. It gets the Molotov down, but Stanley will eliminate him, leaves him into a 3v4. This push is coming out thick and fast towards the A side, but it's just a 2v4 into the round, just a 1v4 now. Everyone is being executed. One attack down to just 14 HP. Has to go for the firefight, but what can he really achieve? 30 seconds left on the clock. Brandon will fall. Epsilon get another round. This is a dominant half. Look at what they're setting themselves up to at the minimum, getting themselves 12 rounds on their CT half here.
We need a pause right now from Endpoint. They need to do something to recalibrate themselves or restructure their game plan going forward, because it's very easy for this half to really step out of control now. Their money's reset. If they go for the force buy and they conclude it and they concede it, sorry, you know, this could, as you said, be a 12-3 half, but so well played from Epsilon. They find the first 2 frags. They don't overpeak. They flash for each other. Kev flashes for JZ Walkins to go onto site. JZ Walkins flashes for Kevs to peek mid. And it's like dominoes. They're full 1 by 1 and they play it so perfectly. It's so great to see.
Oh, this is not something you really want to see if you're an Endpoint fan. Zasty set himself up to go huge here towards post mid. Has support from Kevs as well. Actually, we only get 1. Fasher with a double entry. He's starting to get some flames underneath his heels. He wants to try and play a little bit more hot and heavy into the round, as he will open it up with a nice double. Continuing the damage output as well. Eric dives into the site. No fear at all as he sprints straight through. JC with the AWP. Strikes against him. Fasher goes down. Max with the CZ from distance. Still giving out big digs as he takes down Eric. Zinken, 7 HP on the AWP. Jay-Z, full HP, armed to the teeth with utility. He's got the kit and the AK.
No smoke, though, for my team. Oh, Weber's picked up the smoke. As I say, though, for the body from, I believe it was Stanley. And because he now has the smoke to work with, this could definitely be the round for Endpoint. Leaving just Zinkin last alive. He has control of the bomb. But now, oh, Max can pick it up. Nearly the shot through the smoke. So he'll be walking through, about to meet his demise from Weber. Expects to play 10-4. If they finish the half 10-5, Jack, again, the exact same as Mirage. 10-5 scoreline at the end of the half. So much pressure is going to be on that pistol round.
And that's where the questions lie, just really with how much strategy and how much can you rely on key players to just pop off on their CT side. We saw how deadly Max was on Mirage CT half, ending the game, just topping the charts, just being an absolute showstopper. If they get themselves at least 5 rounds here at the half, coming strong with a nice opening pistol, there's still a lot to play for. If they don't get that pistol, that's when Epsilon start to really lock it down.
Molly's come out to try and counter a rush. Imi going to be walking onto the site, see if he can find the first entry with the enemy. People get spotted out eventually by Eric P. We know how strong Eric's been as an anchor as well. Doesn't go for the other face. Flashbang comes out, but Stanley gets that frag.
Oh, double kill for Stanley. Ready for the third, but he isn't going to quite get it. No hat trick today. Zinkin as well, smiling away. It's actually Kev that gets the double kill here with fire support from his teammates. They can fall back. It's a 3v3. You know Imi is tagged up. Doesn't matter as much as he does have the AWP in his possession. But how do they play this? You've got one kit and a tad of utility, and they're going to go for a smart play as well. Boost Kev up, send him around the back.
3 versus 3. The counter boost comes into play. As Kev does drop down, you can see he might be waiting for a flashbang for his teammates, see if they can sell some diversion. The flashbang comes in.
Kev, just lying in wait now as well. Weber actually has been picked. Jay-Z just went for the wide face. I'm not really too sure what they're actually doing on the CT side right now. Imi and Max, the duo are the last 2 players left to play.
Third smoke towards Connect, but Max can now plant. 4 drop and connected. The problem is Imi is right now situated towards stairs. Finds that first frag onto Jay-Z walking, so 2 versus 2.
If Max gets this kill, that's where the tides change. Max needs to be poised though and ready for this frag. Zinkin as well, someone that can be quite naughty into these rounds. Pushes out. Max, he falters. Kev in the backstab, Zinkin in the front. They're going to try and push through and absolutely overwhelm Imi from all angles. Let's see what they can find. Goes for the no-scope, but doesn't land it. And the aggression from behind will pay off. It's an 11-4 half. And this is not good enough from Endpoint.
This definitely does not bode well. Going into the pistol round, Jack. If Endpoint loses pistol round, we're looking at 12-4. If they lose as their force, as their eco, this could easily read a 14-4 scoreline. In my opinion, Jack, I think if Endpoint lose the pistol, they're going to have to force each and every round going forward.
The thing I want to see right now, going into this opening pistol, I want to pause. I need a pause from Endpoint.
Something. This is literally the tournament pause.
Yeah.
The tournament round falls on this pistol.
You can't afford to just continue playing out these rounds with having no time to at least bash your heads off each other. Try and get some input from Jake, something more strategical. Try and switch things up. You need something to at least just reset yourselves mentally.
Can I just say, the grenade usage today has been far from stellar.
Yeah.
Subpar is an understatement. How many window smokes were failed? How many jungle smokes were failed where there's gaps in the smokes towards connector and whatnot? Obviously on the stage there is land jitters and nerves, but you know.
That's what it looks like though. It looks like right now they're not playing like themselves. They look scared. They look like they've been backed into a corner. And essentially the structure they did have and the confidence they had in themselves all of a sudden is immediately gone. Even when they're on a map that they do feel confident obviously in themselves and they have been practicing on. It's a weird spot to be in for Endpoint. And when you get into that sort of spot, it's so hard to wake yourself up mentally and reset, take it by half basis even. This pistol round essentially decides what happens here. It decides if Epsilon are going to be able to pick up the victory, I imagine, work their way through and at least find themselves in that grand final.
Mighty Max is going to be the one wielding these smoke defuse. But let's see what the play is going to be for. Being sent towards the B-bomb site. Imi alone towards A. Oh no, this could be very bad for Endpoint.
Oh, this is not looking fantastic at all. The push coming through. Imi, we need to rely on him quite heavily. Luckily, the rotate has come through. He's heard those elephants herding towards him as they sprint up. They do actually slow down as well. They go for them around the world.
Let's see what happens with Kev's towards B. If you can find an entry towards the B-bomb site, they can try fake going back towards B, then go back towards A. They can really run amok right now with the CT rotations. It all comes down to Kev.
Looks like they are doing the tour de cobble right now as they take their play over towards that B-bomb site. Kev with the entry on Weber. And this is not looking fantastic. The full rotate has to come back through. Everyone is delayed. They're peeking one by one as well as they slowly trickle back in towards the site. Fasher, he's hoping to do something. He's going in as the frontline infantry, but he loses his face. Everyone's getting obliterated. Zinkin with a horrendous Tremendous double coming out. They are all hitting the deck. Imi, he's going to punish one at least, but that's essentially all he should find. This is going to be a round for Epsilon at this point. Imi, you just can't do anything in that scenario. The face comes round, a pre-fire with a pistol. And that is not the way you wanted that pistol to go.
12-4. Pistol lost for Endpoint. As the halftime scoreline after the pistol will read 12-4. 8-round advantage for Epsilon. And that may be all it takes now for Epsilon to make it into the grand finals versus Envious.
It's very true. The buy comes out, the reinvestment, the scout on Imi to try and at least make the opponents not have as much sustain, tag them early, and then try and finish them off with these upgraded pistols. But look at the buy from Epsilon.
This is one of the things as well on a map like Cobblestone, investing into these rifles. Galil's, AKs have 1 or 2 SMGs, but you have the long range draw towards mid, the long range draw towards A long, towards B platform, onto that B bomb site. And with that having, you know, UMP buys or 4 or 5 SMGs, you are so lackluster versus the Deagles at range. One of the things we're starting to see now is, on the T side, anti-ecos, a lot more investment into AKs and rifles than before.
Ooh. Imi trying to get the tag off, but he actually doesn't land it as this push comes through. Zasty will strike against him with that Kalashnikov and rip his way through him. And that's the one weapon that could have created potential openers in the round, already gone.
Man advantage now as the IGL and captain does falter to his grave. Mighty Max, though, one of the players you really want to step up. We saw a 30 bomber Mirage. Can he try and relive the highlights towards drop in? Try and see if he can keep a silver lining for his team.
Oh, Max with one, trying to double it up, but it isn't meant to be. The stars have not aligned this time around. Weber as well with a cheeky flash, but no one is blind. Little tap through the box as well is all it took. A little love tap from Kev. The follow-up frag on Stanley. Fasha, the last-ditch attempt to try and do something. CZ in his hands, quaking as he waits to try and go for this play. Instead, looking like he will just back off, retreat, and at least have some kind of additional firepower as these rounds go on. 13 rounds will now be secured by Epsilon. They are so close to securing that spot in the grand final versus Envious.
13-4, and I said it earlier, Jack Pryor. Endpoint now have to invest into every single round. They desperately need rounds on the board. They cannot afford a 14-4 scoreline. And if they do, if they want to try and take that risk of winning 11 rounds in a row to force OT, just to say that, 12 rounds in a row if they want to force the win 16-14, you know, you got more chance of winning the lottery, Jack.
Yeah, especially the state you can see him in right now. The frustration, the confidence is hit rock bottom. Everyone just being taken down in so many awful situations. Rounds they feel like they could do better, and you can see how it's really come back to haunt them. It's a somber tone across the team. They need to try and wake up if they want to switch things up.
What are the keys to victory now for Endpoint? They are ecoing. Fasha will buy Kevlar and a kit, as you did save, obviously, from the last rounds. They will have some firepower and Kevlar to work with. If they do pick up a weapon, they can back it up with the armor. Has much more of an impact that way. And it could as well if everything does fall in their favor. But Jakey said it there, win 10 rounds in a row. Now the chance of that, where you make no mistakes 10 rounds consecutively versus the likes of Epsilon as well, which have been winning the duels versus yourselves, is incredibly unlikely.
Especially when you lose your one player that had a little bit of an extra bit of teamwork to play with. Obviously the armor and kit that he had now gone. Everyone also following suit as they all go down in seconds. It's just on Max.
1 versus 5, obviously, no chance of winning this round. Just going to see if he can get a few exit frags, try and save an AK, or at best an SMG. Going forward, try and get some extra frags as well. Each kill, $200, you know, that's a little bit of utility, but won't get the tad bit of advantage. 10-round lead now for Excel. Excel?
Oh, bloody hell.
They're not here anymore. Epsilon. 10-round lead for Epsilon, the Swedish side on their CT side going forward. 2 rounds away from punching their ticket straight into the grand finals versus Envious Academy, and that will be a match that we wanted to see from Season 1 being reignited into Season 2.
It's true. You can see as well, Endpoint with what appears to be their last-ditch attempts to stop Epsilon being able to secure themselves over time, at the very least, with that match point being locked down. They are going to be sending Stanley up on the boosted angle towards that B bomb site, but the true play appears to be developing over towards A. Fasha and Imi working together ever so slightly here. Fasha with the timing is so critical. If they actually do peek and catch him off guard, if he falls, it leaves him in such a deficit.
Fasha will fall back eventually towards A long. Imi alone towards Matrix, playing the offline. Going to have to be worried about 2 positions. For Epsilon right now, they can just play this one nice and passive. They're playing the default one towards drop. They had a player towards B platform, Eric. Didn't throw his grenade just yet. The problem is right now for Endpoint, they're playing so passive towards Statue and towards B. There is no aggression so far towards that B bomb. So Emi finds one, gets traded out. And unfortunately, 1-for-1 in this scenario where they are lacking pure information across the board, giving out drop as well, Jack. We have to see Stanley, we have to see Weber, one of these two extremely talented, extremely experienced players from the UK side, take control somewhere, because you can see they're sitting ducks right now towards this B bomb site. But eventually the force, or should I say the push, sorry, coming towards A from Max playing close towards long.
Oh, Max gonna peek round, gets one, doesn't overextend either. He knows to back off, goes for the flash, but he actually does get it off. That's quite a smart flash as he actually will reposition back round, tries to deal some damage here as these pushes will be coming in, but doesn't do anything really that he needed to. The rotate coming through, Stanley on 39 HP with support of Weber. Depending on when he actually peaks, if he finds the frag on Eric, they can achieve it. Oh, the flick as well. Takes down Eric. It's all on JZ. He tries to take it as 2 1v1s, gets the first. If Stanley doesn't find success here, it is going to be over as they find themselves match point, Endpoint. They are going to be so broken. They have no room for mistakes now, and they are not in a situation to do anything here. They can't mount this comeback.
You can see right now Endpoint looking sad, deflated as well, as nothing has gone their way. All the clutches, all the individual angels, the peak performances, you've got your super sub Zasty. This is the thing, this isn't even the full roster, Jack. Barbar, one of the key elements for Epsilon, the IGL captain, sometimes the primary AWPer as well. Oh, sorry, takes them out of the AWP, isn't here. Yeah. And yet they have a dominating performance where Zasty is just on full peak performance into the semi-finals, which seems like it's been enough to send them into the grand finals here of Season 2. 11 match points now for the Swedish side to send the UK side packing.
Feels like Epsilon, they've just relied individually on the strength they have as working as a wolf pack, splitting up into groups, being able to find success individually. They know how strong they are, whereas Endpoint, they just didn't believe in themselves today. Fasher goes down as well for potentially the last time, as this could be the final round here. If somehow they don't find success, Imi as well falls short. Max, Stanley, and Weber. These 3 musketeers trying to hold on to a dream, trying to at least keep themselves alive for another round. Weber will get one, takes down Kev. That's the lurk player out of commission. If he wants to overextend and dip his toes in the water, he can grab himself a firearm. They know this player's coming out towards A. Max is hearing everything, but how do they play it?
Flashbang comes out. Let's see if he can find any frags. It's one, goes for the second, lines him up, but Eric and Zasty, they chime in with a few kills of their own. 15-4, match point now. And a 1 versus 2 for Weber has a flashbang, Molotov, and defuse kit to try and utilize into the scenario. But right now, they're stacked against him.
In his day, he would win these in his sleep. Let's see if that's something that is going to happen today right now. Zasty already 3 frags into the round. Eric has claimed 1 of his own. What can Weber do? Can he try and stump them and stop them from achieving too much? Quite cheeky angle in play there as well from Zasty, but he spots it out, finds the kill. Doesn't know the location of Eric though, and that is his downfall. Eric finds the frag. 16 rounds have been secured, 2 maps claimed, and also their tickets to the grand final versus Envy. Everything is set up. The stars have aligned. Finally, we have our 2 teams here that will be facing off in the grand final of the Gfinity Elite Series Season 2.
We called it, Jack. We said it was going to be a swift 2-0 in favor of one of those teams. And unfortunately for Endpoint, on home soil, they do concede at the semi-finals, and it's going to be Eric P and co. Different faces, obviously different weeks. They've had their coach sub in the regular season. They've had Barbar up until week 7. Different faces, but the exact same results, Jack. Epsilon again, different roster, completely rehauled, but once again making it to the grand finals.
It's true, they've secured their spots. It's done and dusted.